Snow Trails TV begins a week of feature riding in Washington State's Cascade Mountains. We are snowmobiling in Washington State, invited by the Washington State Snowmobile Association to familiarize you with new recreational opportunities you may not have known about. Snowmobiling is becoming a very popular vacation option. Often, Snow Trails TV is using rental sleds from the local area. Rentals could be an option for you. If this looks like fun, just about any snowmobile club would take you out for your first guided snowmobile ride.
Hey, I'm Video Mike and welcome to Snow Trails TV. We're in Washington State. I'm at Crystal Springs Snow Park. It's a different type of riding out here than what you're used to seeing in Quebec or Michigan or some of the trail areas. We're going to go ride out in the mountains today.
Basically, we're right here at Crystal Springs. We're going to start off, we're just going to go out a little bit, take a right, head up towards Lost Lake. Cross up here, there's one quick avalanche chute here we're going to shoot through. It should be okay today, and up around, and we'll get a pretty good view from up on top.
Hey, well, let's go have some fun here in Washington State at Crystal Falls on Snow Trails TV. Crystal Springs.
Crystal Springs is just one of the over 80 snow parks in Washington State dedicated for snowmobiling.
Snowmobiling in Washington State, there's lots of different varieties from big mountains, little mountains, lots of trail riding, lots of off-the-trail riding for the expert to the novice.
I've been snowmobiling in Washington since 1986. If I wanted to see my husband on the weekend, I needed to learn how to ride a snowmobile. It's different every year, it's different with the snow conditions. Each snowmobile that comes out presents different challenges to learn how to ride, but it's all up to the rider. I like to explain to my friends that snowmobiling can be like your own personal roller coaster ride.
My riding started in 1970, bought my first sled. From there we went to more modern, better sleds. Basically, snowmobiling is one of those items where you take your family. I'm very family involved. I give these people a bad time all the time, but it's family involvement.
Well, there's not a lot of recreational opportunities when you live in a rural area in the mountains in the wintertime, so it's a chance to get outdoors, see wildlife.
Crystal Springs Snow Park is the largest snow park in the state of Washington. It's got a pretty good percentage of the groomed trail system that's, equivalent to, I would say, at least the top 5 in the state as far as groomed trails that are surrounding it. I've been riding up here for, like I said, 38 years, so within about 20 minutes I can be away from the crowd and not see a sled the rest of the day, no matter how crowded it is in the parking lot. So that's what I like about it.
Bad experiences happen very, very little. I mean, I've been riding for 31 years and never really been in a real dangerous situation. There's some precaution. You have to use your head once in a while.
Less than 10 miles down the trail and through a few switchbacks and up a little steep climbing, we're here on top of this peak, looking over Lost Lake now. We rode way down on that road earlier. It's a beautiful view up here. Crystal Springs, we're having a lot of fun here. It's not the best conditions. Snowmobiling isn't always, it's a little icy. We've had some rain, but it's a beautiful day here, and any good day of snowmobiling is better than no day of snowmobiling. Let's get back into the trails and explore more of Crystal Springs here in Washington State.
We had a shooting schedule and Mother Nature was not being kind to us. There was a mix of rain, freezing rain, with a hard crust on the snow. Not ideal conditions.
The first morning of snowmobiling here in Crystal Springs Snow Park. Excellent morning, a little misty, not the perfect weather, but we're having fun snowmobiling. It was a nice 10 miles up to the top of the peak, 10 miles back. We're going to have a hot lunch here, get back out and do some riding in the afternoon.
There's a program, Take a Friend Snowmobiling Out, that in fact I brought up with our association. We're doing what we call a newbie ride, and people at the snow show put their names in if they've never been snowmobiling, and we actually draw names out of a hat and take them out, furnish them snowmobiles, furnish them gear, I usually guide for these people, and they have a great time. Okay, this is an example of when the snow was a lot better than it is and more snow. We take our shortcuts right up through these kinds of hills, up through the trees, and up and over the top, and get to the roads that we're going to be tying into on the top side when we get there. But these roads are just nothing more than jumping off spots to take our shortcuts up and over and do boondocking.
This is mountain riding, and everyone in the group thinks about safety first. An avalanche beacon must be worn by each individual. Often the groomed trails are really just here to get you to a different place on the mountain to backcountry ride. A long day of riding in the mountains may only be 40 or 50 miles at most.
Just making a little trail around the...
Well, occasionally when you're mountain riding and the weather comes in, come across the trail that you're used to going on, and you come across a tree that's a little too big than your hand tree saws you're carrying, so you have to reroute. So this is our reroute around the tree. Next weekend I'll bring a little chainsaw on the back of my sled and cut that tree out of the way, and it'll be a trail again.
Sleds have changed a lot in the last few years. You can go a lot more places you couldn't go before. They're a lot quieter, easier to ride, and I think they're better off for the sport. You know, all around, it's a lot easier for anybody to be involved to ride a sled now than it used to be.
Well, I built a cabin in '87, 2 ridges over behind my left shoulder that overlooks Lake Cleellum, and the last half mile, that was the only way to get in. So I went and bought a cheap snowmobile just to get in, and fell in love with it, and pretty soon that was a reason to come over.
This logjam slowed things down a bit, but it's really amazing the places one can go and the spectacular sights Mother Nature offers us. It's a different experience every time, even in the same places.
I'm also a new member of the Kittitas County Snowmobile Search and Rescue Team. I've just completed the training. Call-outs per year, sometimes it's only a handful, 8 or 10 call-outs, sometimes it'll be 25 or 30.
I started when about 5 with a little kitty cat, and then moved up to a 120 Polaris, and then I just slowly worked my way up from there to a 340, then a 550, and then to 600.
All right, it's getting later in the day, and the freezing rain is coming back. Really playing problems with the lens here. You know, we don't want to really do spot TV and do all this beautiful scenery here in Washington injustice. But take a little look around. You can just imagine on a clear blue sky day what it's like up here. And I just think it looks like pure God's country, even on a day like this. We're having a great time, and it's a wonderful experience here. I don't think we're going to be able to shoot too much. The sun's going down, real cloudy, and it's rainy, but stick around. We'll be up here for the rest of the week. Well, Jim, we had a good time. Thanks for taking us out today.
It was a great time.
Now, this, you say, is one of the bigger snow parks.
This is the biggest snow park in the state of Washington as far as actual places to park vehicles and ride out of.
I could see if the weather hadn't done what it did to us today, we just have a fantastic time in the backcountry.
If we had fresh powder and no ice and visibility, you guys would have had the ride of your life.
Well, we didn't have fresh powder, we didn't have visibility, and we had lots of ice, but we still had one heck of a good time. So we're going to be doing this here for the rest of the week. You're working with us tomorrow again?
I am. Yep, next 2 days.
Excellent. All right, Video Mike for Snow Trails TV here in Washington State, and it's beautiful riding. It's way different than the Eastern Trail riding that, you know, where I come from, but we'll be back tomorrow on Snow Trails TV.
You're watching Snow Trails TV.
Snow Trails TV visits the Cascade Mountains in Washington State and explores Cle Elum Valley in the Salmon Lasac and Woods and Steel Snow Park. We had to do a little trailering to reach the Salmon Lasac Snow Park, located at the upper end of Cle Elum Lake. This took us through the very small and very old community of Roslyn, which has a rather recent and unique claim to fame that you may have seen. Roslyn is the town that the TV show Northern Exposure was filmed. You may recognize one of the buildings or signs.
Thank you.
If you're looking for snowmobile information, the Cascade Playground may be able to provide some answers and get you pointed in the right way with local riding contacts, sled repairs, and even rentals. He had some pretty tricked out mountain sleds. We spent a little time again waiting for Mother Nature to lift the cloud cover. All right, we're here in the land of the steep and deep in Kittitas County in Washington State. Where are we going to ride today, and what is this snow park?
Well, this snow park is the Salmon Lasac Snow Park. It's you have to go through the town of Ronald and Roslyn to get to this area. And we're just going to take a groomed trail up to Cooper Lake.
Well, the weather hasn't been perfect for us. We've had a little bit of rain going on. It's let up right now. It's an early afternoon ride. Let's get out on the trails here on Snow Trails TV in Washington State. Salmon Lasac Snow Park is a multi-use winter recreation area. It's not uncommon to see cross-country skiers or dog sledders using the trail. When you see a non-motorized trail user, don't abuse your right and give them a little safe space. I never really paid much attention to the rain-snow line of altitude before. Today we heard the rain-snow line was at about 4,000 feet.
I think the biggest challenge for women riding snowmobiles is that they don't give themselves enough time to do that. You don't learn it once or twice a weekend in the winter. You really need to go out every weekend, ladies, with your guys.
There's a saying, keep the track side down.
Yeah, that's it. When you got flat light and you don't see a hole like that and you're side hilling, you fall into it and you're done.
I could tell this had happened before.
Pretty impressive.
It seemed to take very little effort to get the sled righted, and with a soft powder, there wasn't even a scratch. Well, we're finishing up our second day of Snow Trails TV here in Washington State. They say it rains in Washington. That is true. It's not supposed to be raining. The snow line was about 4,000 feet when we went up. And as you can see, it was snowing so hard up there, the visibility was really poor. But we'll be here for the rest of the week in Washington State on Snow Trails TV. We ended the evening with some wonderful conversation at the Brick Tavern in Roslyn. Established in 1889 and keeping the very authentic look and feel.
That'd be awesome. We have a sled up for you.
I'm trying to stay out of it. You're watching Snow Trails TV.
Well, this is the Woods and Steel Road Snow Park. And this is a county road that we're parked on here. And as you can see, there's a turnaround up here and we can park on one side of the road within a certain area. Later on, we're going to have a brand new snow park right up the road here, about a quarter mile. During the weekends, most all of our snow parks are quite busy.
I am Video Mike and welcome to Snow Trails TV. It's day 3 exploring Washington State. We're at the Woods and Steel Snow Park. We're going to go take some rides up into the mountains in the backcountry today. I've got the Washington State Snowmobile Association with me. They're going to guide us around. Let's go have some fun on Snow Trails TV.
Ready for another great ride?
Our third snow park in 3 days. 77 more days and maybe we can visit them all.
Place we'll be going today, we'll be going out somewhat to the southwest probably, and going out towards some high country where we'll have pretty good views looking out towards Lake Cle Elum and looking over the valley area out here.
Well, snowmobiling has the conception that you get out there and you freeze your rear end off and stuff, but mostly that's not true. We stay warm, we all wear good gear, lightweight, waterproof gear, take a lot of safety precautions.
Well, I've been down to, I've been staying like 120 something.
All right, the one that's peak is up above the clouds.
Right across the way, there's two lakes. They're both reservoirs. And yesterday when we were riding, drove alongside that lake, and we were up in that valley playing when it was that nasty weather and snowing and raining. But that's where we were yesterday. So we're right across the valley of where yesterday.
For people not familiar with the snow in Washington State, we get a lot of moisture off the Pacific Ocean, and the very highest snow depth ever recorded in the world is about 60 miles north of here at Mount Baker, 1,140 inches in one season. Their average season is 647 inches every year.
I don't know how many people get the feeling that during the winter there is nothing fun to do. But if this looks like something you might like to try at least once in your life, there are several opportunities to take a friend snowmobiling with events that snowmobile clubs hold that are made to give you a chance just to try it for free.
3,700 feet of climbing since we've left the snow park now. Beautiful meandering trails up through the mountainside. Just scenic views on every single corner. We had to stop at another one. Here we're at 5,200 feet.
I'm Wayne Moeller, and I'm a relatively newcomer to this area as far as being a resident in Kittitas County. But where we are today is up in an area called Windy Ridge. Yesterday we were riding over on the French Cabin area and went up above Cooper Lake. Basically we started this morning in the Cle Elum Valley. That's about 2,000 feet. Where we rode up to this ridge starts at about 3,500 feet, and I think, as you said earlier, we're at about 5,200 feet here.
Here I am, and it's not good. There's the sled. We're stuck. Got myself planted in here pretty good right now. So we'll figure this out.
Don't worry about the band. Worry about the camera.
Got the Chevy guy digging. You don't have to be that deep, just...
My wife works faster than that.
A lot of us climbed this peak, and Video Mike got there, and then Dan Johnson come to the bottom. He got stuck, and to get out, he went up a pretty sharp climb.
This is what we call cascade concrete. This wet snow when it packs down, and it's like concrete.
And then there's another climb, a long one up through the woods, goes to a peak up here. Jim followed him, and they've got the machines for it with the long track, but Video Mike tried to follow him on a shorter track machine. And last I saw, it was on its side about 2/3 of the way up the hill. So I think they're digging him out.
Another real good reason why you don't want to be snowmobiling out here by yourself, because you get into a problem like this, and it takes a few people to get out.
I'll try not to do it again within the next 5 minutes.
Actually, if we can do it within the next hour, we're doing good because we're riding in the mountains.
Getting stuck and getting out is all part of the backcountry learning curve. They said I just didn't go fast enough.
Snow Trails TV is just seeing a small bit of Washington. You guys are pretty much staying in the center part of the state. But we've got snowmobiling all over. We've got snowmobiling down in the southwest corner in Mount Adams, Mount St. Helens area. We've got snowmobiling in the southeast corner and around Dayton. up through Spokane, go up north to Colville, and then we've also got up in the Okanagan region, more in the center of the state, up north. So there's a lot of opportunity to ride in Washington.
You know what a great place to have lunch at. I think this is going to turn into one of my most favorite restaurants here. Lunch on the hilltop.
You don't need birds like that for coming up. I don't want to practice anything that Robbie was practicing last night. It didn't work for him.
Hopefully the guy passed you before you got really buried.
You know, people think that you don't want to ride out here because there is extreme avalanche danger. If you stick to the trails, your susceptibility to avalanches is really not all that great. Most of the trails are avoid avalanche areas. But if you want to play in the deep snow and do the hill climbing, there are avalanche concerns. Matter of fact, we built a trailer here a few years ago that's got all sorts of safety information in it and on it. The outside's painted up pretty. And we have a lot of avalanche information inside of there, as well as your regular safety information you'd find anywhere, including ice crossing and whatnot.
We've had a good packed lunch up here on the mountaintop. It's time to get back down now and meander around on the trails and enjoy some of the more beautiful scenery here in Washington. We're just finishing our third day riding here in Washington State, getting a really good familiarization with the area. We went through the woods and steel area, and as you could see from some of the shots that we had, just beautiful scenery, and the only way you're going to get to see this stuff is on a snowmobile. So if you enjoyed what you saw, it's easy to do. Contact the Washington State Snowmobiling Association, and we'll see you on the trail.
Snow Trails TV continues exploring snow parks in Washington State around the Yakima Valley.
Hi, I'm Video Mike and welcome to Snow Trails TV in Washington State. We're at the Atanum Snow Park and we're going to get a tour of the area and let you get familiar with what Washington has to offer. I'm here with Devin, who's going to tell us a little bit about the area, and he's also the groomer coordinator. And if you go on to Snow West and want to know about the conditions, this is the guy that's got the answers. Devin, tell us a little bit about this.
Well, the Atanum Snow Park is one of the largest in the state of Washington. We typically can fit on a good day about 100 rigs in here and another 10 at the lower snow park, and then some a little bit lower. We've got this trailhead basically starts off from 4 different directions. You've got the Red Saddle on the south, Middle Fork next, North Fork, and then the we call the Jackass Trailhead, which is the north side of Divide Ridge, goes up a little bit further down. Our snow park's at about 3,100 feet elevation, and we can ride from here to about just under 7,000 feet on the top of Darling Mountain.
I think we need to go find out what's here. So let's get out on the trails on Snow Trails TV.
2 years in the planning for this trip with Washington State Snowmobile Association, and the weather has just not been to our favor. We had heard so much about the Atanum Snow Park and really hoping the weather would favor our cameras. We are located in what is known as the Greenwater Yakima area. There are 6 different areas that divide up the state. Just about everywhere we traveled this winter, the snow park was down to half or more of what is usually enjoyed. So while we do get an introduction to the area, we really don't get to show you the real riding opportunities as they should exist.
About 10 miles down the trail and 3,100 feet in elevation. We're now at 6,100 feet. We're up here about 6,700 feet, and we've had too many people doing the snow dance. It's coming in pretty hard and heavy. I don't know if you can see behind me, but there's a nice little play area that's just over the top. There's something they call the Super Bowl, but the visibility is like down to about, probably less than 20 yards right now. We're hunkered down here behind a pine tree, just kind of hoping that the snow will lift a moment so we can continue on here. But you know, they tell me awesome scenery from the top, and I believe it. but we just can't see it right now.
When the snowfall gets like this heavy and thick, riding the backcountry is not advisable. It's far too difficult to see and read the terrain ahead, so we are doing a lot more trail riding than normal. And with the difficulties of reading the terrain come the difficulties of keeping the sled track side down. Notice the low windshield, low profile handlebars, and low profile mirrors. Other than a little difficulty starting it, it seemed none the worse. And this sure isn't the first time for me with a small mishap.
Hold them under that. These old models we made for them.
Washington State snowmobiling is for the most part off-trail backcountry mountain riding in organized state-operated snow parks. All safety precautions should be observed, including personal avalanche beacons, shovels, and probe poles. There is a groomed trail network that leads around the various mountains, but is really only used to travel to new meadows or adventurous hillsides.
Trailside lunch.
Yep. At Blue Lake.
You're supposed to put those along the way.
It's been a lot of fun snowmobiling, and even a day like this, it's still better than sitting in the house looking outside. We've done a little bit of boondocking now. We can't really do any high marking because we can't see the ground very well. It's really flat lighting here. But we're going to stop in this little cobra trees here in Blue Lake and have a bag lunch.
If we could have planned this ride for tomorrow, fresh powder and maybe sunny skies. I googled Washington State snow parks and easily found all the resources and maps for locating the over 80 snow parks available for snowmobiles and many other non-motorized winter enjoyment. Downloadable maps were available for each snow park with specific directions.
Take a look here, you can see we've got lots of snowpack today, and the camera is not doing real well. Zoom's frozen, the thing's hardly turning on, and we can't see very well out of this one. The spare one, our indoor camera, I'm not going to take the chance of killing that one. So we're just going to go ride here in the backcountry, have some fun, and hope you enjoyed what you've already seen today here on Snow Trails TV, riding in Washington State. And we're going to have great snow for tomorrow.
Before the days of the Yakima Valley being really settled, cohabitating with the elk herd that came out of the mountains for the milder weather was not a problem. But with the farmland in the growing valley and the expansion of civilization, some compromise had to be reached. This elk herd feeding station is set up, and as you can see, hundreds of elk are here for the winter. This keeps them from coming into the valley and competing with the farmers for food. Comfortable conversation and sharing riding stories was a nice way to end the evening. We were overnighting and riding just out of Whistling Jack's Lodge. Originally built in 1931 and located along the Natchez River and Chinook Pass Highway at Cliffdale, just outside of Natchez.
Hi, welcome to Snow Trails TV. I'm in Washington State right now. We're riding right outside of Whistling Jack's where we've been staying for the last few days. There's another snow park right here, and we've had some great riding the last 4 days. Let's go take a look and see what we have to offer today.
Here at the Spring Creek Snow Park, We're going to go up to 1705, around over here. We're going to go up through some boondocking and up into this Ball Mountain area and drop back down over into the Rock Creek area and come back around and come back to the snow park.
We're going to be riding in the Wenatchee National Forest, located in the Natchez Ranger District. The snow park was just across from the lodge. There was also a snowmobile rental shop that could take care of your travel needs.
We just left the Spring Creek Snow Park and come up to 1705. We are now at the intersection that goes down to Gold Creek. We are on it'll be the 1703. We're going to proceed up the 1703 into the Gold Creek drainage up to a play area up here about 3 or 4 miles up the road a ways.
With the long paddle tracks not throwing much snow, a cooling issue is developed. But as soon as we get off the hard-packed trail, this cooling issue will improve.
Yeah, those weren't bad for you at all.
All right, the GPS has got my altitude here at about 5,400 feet. The snow is a lot more snow now, and we're almost above the cloud layer. I see blue sky up there. It looks like it's going to burn off, and we're looking for a real good day here. This whole area, beautiful powder bowls that on a regular year would be just excellent stomping ground for the snowmobiles. Now it's a little thin, but we'll see if we can get our friends to go play here and show you the kind of fun you can have.
In 1964, Congress passed the Wilderness Act, creating designated wilderness areas within national forests, national parks, and certain other federal land. This act prohibits roads, vehicles, snowmobiles, and other motorized equipment from entering designated areas. While snowmobiles have little impact on the ground, they are still included in the ban. I have seen several prohibited wilderness areas and stayed out. Unfortunately, sometimes snowmobilers do not know where the boundaries are or may not realize an area is closed, leading to accidental intrusions into the wilderness areas. We must all respect the existing wilderness areas. This may help prevent additional area closures. Please familiarize yourself with the location of restricted areas and respect the boundaries.
We don't get the dry powder snow here. Ours is a lot more moisture in it. So the snow back, where you get the powder snow that you can go through stuff that's maybe waist deep, we get 2 or 3 feet, and sometimes you can't even go through it because it's just a different consistency. Well, this area here, we're now up on what we call Ball Mountain, and it's open like you see here, and you can go from one meadow to the next, and we drop off over on the north side over here, and we head towards Ellensburg and Cle Elum. This area here has acre and acre of play area. This is really a beautiful play area up here. It can be as challenging as you want or as tame as you want. So.
In case you didn't know, every state that has snowmobiling has an organized state association that you can become a member of that works to sustain, maintain, and promote recreational snowmobiling. These associations are run by volunteers, sometimes even your friends and neighbors. From contacting your state association, one can easily find information about local snowmobile clubs that may take you along to areas like this and introduce you to many others who share the same outdoor passions and enjoy your company. Use your favorite search engine, Washington State Snowmobile Association. All of these sleds have extended tracks, 144-inch track length or better with deep lugs of 1.5 inches, 2 inches or more. This helps with the riding in the deeper powder and climbing hills. On the trails though, the longer track does not handle as well as a shorter track sled.
We have to shovel the roof off once in a while. It gets so deep on it.
Park up
Yeah,
there.
you
And
park right up, pull on the back side, and just park, stand on your sled, and pull it off.
here we are, backcountry riding, having a mile-high sandwich. We're 5,000 feet up. It's a perfect day here.
While we are having a lot of fun, they tell me that these conditions are not at all normal for this season of 2010. There are at least 8 to 10 feet less snow than normal. But from what I could see, there is a beauty that the mountains of Washington State are offering the snowmobiler, with so many opportunities to explore many miles of backcountry on a snowmobile with the snow parks that if you're complaining about nothing to do and have cabin fever, just take a look at what is available.
Welcome to Whistling Jacks, and you're watching Snow Trails TV.